Okay, let's unpack this. So, picture the 1980s. It's really a golden age for RC cars, isn't it?
Absolutely a huge boom.
And Japan was, well, it was the epicenter. Like, if you were a hobbyist back then, you probably dreamed about getting your hands on those amazing Tamiya buggies.
Yeah.
You know, the Frog, the Hornet.
Yeah, iconic machines. Everybody wanted one.
But what if you wanted to push them, hot rod them a bit, get performance beyond what Tamiya offered out of the box?
Right, the hop-ups, performance upgrades.
Exactly. So our mission today, our deep dive, it's really about this question. Were American hop-ups, these aftermarket parts, were they actually available or, popular in 1980s Japan?
And that really brings up a core question for us, doesn't it? You had this really strong domestic market in Japan. Tamiya's cultural influence was massive.
Yes.
So how did that market react to innovation coming from outside? From America specifically? It created a really fascinating dynamic.
Yeah, because Tamiya wasn't just selling RC cars. They were brilliant at selling a whole story. Their cars, they had these distinct personalities, right? And the box art. Wow.
Yeah.
Like a story contained in a picture.
Totally. You could stare at those boxes for hours.
And they even had their own national TV show, Tamiya RC Car Grand Prix, and manga tie-ins. So how did all that build loyalty, especially for you, the consumer back then?
Well, what's really clever, I think, is how Tamiya cemented that loyalty with their own hop-up options.
Ah, right. They had their own line.
Exactly. They weren't just waiting for others. They proactively offered a really comprehensive set of upgrades. Simple stuff like ball bearings, smoother running.
Yeah, the basics.
All the way up to high-performance black motors like that RS540 SD Technipower. A beast.
Okay.
So they created this seamless upgrade path all within their own system. Their walled garden, you could call it.
So for most people, why look anywhere else?
Precisely. Tamiya gave you the car, the story, and the upgrades. It actively kind of discouraged looking for outside parts.
And it wasn't just Tamiya either. The Japanese market itself was super competitive. A real archipelago effect. Loads of options.
Oh, yeah. You had giants like Kyosho. They were known for pure race machines, the Optima, the Ultima.
Serious competition cars.
And others, too, like AYK, Yokomo. The market was saturated with quality Japanese brands. So if it was already so packed, how did American companies even get a look in?
Good question.
Well, meanwhile, over in the U.S., you had a totally different vibe emerging. It was more of a garage revolution. Smaller companies, really agile.
Born from racing.
Often, yeah. Founded by racers who saw a specific problem, maybe durability or handling, and thought, I can fix that. They focused on, specialized, innovative parts to solve those niche problems, a different approach.
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting then. Did these American innovators, did they actually make any inroads in Japan? Like custom racing products, CRP? They made tougher parts, right? Heavy-duty steel axles for the Frog, stuff like that.
Yeah, durability upgrades. Or Thorp manufacturing, they had those game-changing ball differentials, specifically for Tamiya's top-end Avante.
Ah, the Avante diffs. Pure competition parts.
Exactly. Very high performance, aimed at serious racers. And even Parma, they offered things like clear Lexan bodies for Tamiya trucks, like the Midnight Pumpkin. So aesthetic customization, something a bit different.
Right, you could paint your own style.
This points to something crucial, though. How did these parts actually get into Japan? It wasn't typically through the main hobby shops.
No. How then?
Mostly, it seems, via elite international competition. Think about the American racer Joel Johnson winning the JMRCA All-Japan Champs in '84. He was using American parts. That gets noticed.
Okay, so high-level racing was the doorway.
That, and specialist importers catering to those elite racers. Plus, American RC magazines sometimes made their way over, but these were, narrow channels, not mainstream distribution.
So let's pull this all together. What did this whole situation actually mean for, the average kid or hobbyist in Japan back then?
Well, it basically created a two-tiered market.
2 tiers? How so?
For the top-level racers, the really dedicated guys looking for any competitive edge, brands like Thorp were known. They were highly desirable, worth the effort and cost to track down and import.
The serious competitors knew.
Right. But for the mainstream, the vast majority of hobbyists who grew up with Tamiya, inside that whole Tamiya world.
The ones watching the TV show, reading the manga.
Exactly. For them, American brands were, largely unknown, genuinely hard to find, and honestly probably seems like too much hassle.
Why bother when Tamiya or Kyosho had so much good stuff readily available?
Precisely. The domestic options were abundant and culturally ingrained. Looking abroad just wasn't necessary for most people.
So if we could like step into a typical Japanese hobby shop in the mid-'80s, what would we see?
Overwhelmingly Tamiya. Shelves packed with Tamiya kits, Tamiya hop-up options, probably Kyosho, maybe some AYK or Yokomo too. Japanese brands dominating.
And the American parts? CRP, Thorp.
If they were there at all, they'd probably be, in a locked glass display case, or maybe kept in a back room. Seen as exotic, definitely expensive, and really just for the hardcore racing crowd.
Gotcha. Exotic and niche.
So if we connect all these threads, the final verdict seems pretty clear, doesn't it? American RC hop-ups were technically available in 1980s Japan. You could get them. But they were absolutely not popular in any mainstream sense. The Japanese market was like a fortress, very self-sufficient. American parts were, let's say, an exotic spice, something for specialists, not a staple food for the average hobbyist.
A really interesting dynamic. So maybe the lesson here, when you think about any market, is not just about what's available. It's about what truly clicks with the consumers there, what captures their hearts and minds.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does pure innovation always win out? Does it always cross cultural boundaries easily? Or are some of these walled gardens, like a Tamiya build, just too strong, too complete? Something to definitely mull over.